These are the top crypto stories of the day, and it's all centered around Bitcoin. We have Bitcoin getting another green monthly candle close. Also, Tether signaling they're buying tons and tons of Bitcoin. Watch out, Michael Saylor. And then last but not least, speaking of Bitcoin, Call of Duty players got hacked. There's a major exploit happening right now. Are you at risk? Let's go around the blockchain. All right, everybody playing Call of Duty. Am I at risk? You're going to stick around, everybody. All right, well, let's hit that like button because we got two of the best guests in all of the interwebs, starting with the king of thumbnails. I'm not talking about the calcium deposits at the end of your digits. It's Piano Matty B. Piano, how are you doing today?
Oh, it's amazing up here in Canada. It's a big day. I changed my winter tires to my summer tires, so it's like the groundhog looking.
Always a good day. It's also the anniversary of your most recent province was added into Canada. I think in the 25 years ago today, actually, right? Does that ring a bell?
Is that Yukon or what was it?
It's 3 letters, NLW, something like that.
Northwest Territories.
Yeah. So, on this day, fun Canuck fact for you. Go ahead and drop some maple syrup on that like button. And then also we have classic Kev holding it down. Kev, how are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing great. Day in crypto, you see red, April Fool's Day. It's kind of like, man, what the hell's going on? But excited to be back on, Deezy.
Always a good time. And folks, at the end of the episode, we might share a DGen pick on the base chain we were talking about before the show. We're just feeling generous. It's April Fool's Day. We're not fooling around with this coin. All right, let's talk about Bitcoin's monthly close here. We can share my screen. Price of Bitcoin has tied its record that was set all the way back in 2012 when it comes to monthly candle closes. Now, I've moved it to Heiken Ashi, but if we go to regular candles here, right now you can see very nice streak of green candles. We had done that, almost had an unbroken streak, but stupid September 2020 had to break that. And right now we are setting up a repeat of 2012. And you can see a nice little big grouping of green candles right there. But if we go back to this article right now, 71,000. But if we look right now, 68,000 Bitcoin. It's taking a little tumble, but now we've done a little bit of a recovery here, 69K. Now, Piano Matty B, we now happen to have one of the TA masters in all of YouTube, whether it's crypto, whether it's traditional stocks, whether it's boring things like orange juice and pork belly futures. But Piano Matty B, I felt a little fear this morning. I almost felt like it was too coincidental that we had a nice little pump, just enough to the green monthly candle close. And then as soon as that monthly candle closed, the dumping started happening. This is manipulation. The crash is starting. Well, how are you feeling right now? Are you feeling fearful? Are you feeling greedy?
No, I feel fine. These are just like, we're in a range. We're in one of the most boring ranges ever. And this is what happens. I mean, you can see here, we have one hell of a bullish engulfing candle right there. That's the signaling that the bulls have taken back the market. But right up here at 71.3, look at this wall. Look at this wall. Bang, bang, bang. Rejected. Now, here's where it can get a little dicey. If we make it up to 71.3 again and get rejected, I think that might kick in a trend change. Now, if we go to the monthly chart here is our majestic 7 candle pump, right? But if you just put the Fibonacci's here, listen, the Fibonacci's like to play out. But when you're on the monthly time frame, I mean, a 23.6 fib is down at 60. Ouch. But that's not the worst. The 38.2% fib, my favorite fib, 54.1. Now, these are natural retracements that happen on all charts. Now, whether we'll see them on the monthly, I don't know. I sure don't want to see it, but if we do see it, I don't care. I mean, we know where it's going, right? So it's a patience game. It's just a mechanism for the patience. You'll be rewarded in the end. Long story short.
All right. Well, speaking of patience, we have Jason Casper, and Harry Mack had the patience to listen through an entire Jason Casper cipher. And I think Harry Mack might be, I think that might be his favorite rapper is Jason Casper. So shout out to the new B Rabbit in the chat. If you don't know, check out Jason Casper's lives. He's down. You can go ahead and click his link. He's dropping bars, everybody. All right. Now, Kevin, speaking of dropping bars, He just laid out a scenario where this monthly bar is about to drop. What do you feel about a 60K Bitcoin at a month close? What do you feel about a 54K? I feel like, okay, me and you, people have been here a couple cycles, traders, they're going to feel somewhat dead inside already, but they're not going to be too fearful. How will the markets react to a 54,000 Bitcoin? Will there be calls from the heavens? Bear market is here. The correction is coming. Watch out. Here comes 10K Bitcoin.
There's always going to be that. There's always any red day is going to signal to a bunch of people, whether it's on Twitter or whatever, that, this is it. It's over. That was the top. And, isn't April normally bullish? I'm really not sure. Isn't the saying walk away in May? But
yeah,
look,
sell in May, walk away.
We got too many positive catalysts, though. I mean, you got the Bitcoin halving on 420. Easy. The Bitcoin halving on 420. Is this real life? So I don't know, man. It's just too many bullish catalysts. The Ethereum spot ETF approval coming. I just can't be bearish right now, and I'm not too concerned with the short-term price volatility, what happens with it. But like anybody, I mean, I'm just like you, man. We're going to sit around. We're going to wait and see. And just like when you're, Daisy, if we're arguing the Saints versus the Falcons, if we just wait a little while, we're going to find out what's going to happen very, very soon.
All right. Well, sell in May, walk away. That's actually, great advice in 2021. Now, Piano Matty B, I'm pulling up the monthly chart again. You can see, we had a nice little streak. It wasn't 7 monthly candles, but we got 6 monthly candles. And then you can see the April Doge candle there. And then there's the sell in May, walk away capitulation scenario. If we were to get a similar candle like this in April for this year, I mean, what would you predict for May if that were to happen?
For May, I would say bare minimum. So let's say that we do have a red candle. I'll go back to the monthly here. Let's say we do have a red candle that goes down to the 23.6% fib. Now, listen. In the law of averages, I mean, seeing as though we broke the record 6 and we're now at 7 green candles, one might say if they were a gambling man that this would be the month that we would probably maybe see a red candle, or else we just blow this record away. We go 8 straight green candles in a row. But let's just say we have a retracement just like this slight little one, and this is where we close on a red candle. I wouldn't be surprised to see 60 min in May. But then again, here's the whole thing, though. Like, you were correct. Like when you say there's so many bullish factors. So to see that type of retracement after the halving, I don't know. At the end of the day, anything can happen, DZ.
All right. Well, chat, let's all get involved. We're going to go around the blockchain. Is April going to be green or red? I'm just always eternally bullish. I feel like the sell in May. I feel like too many people are calling for the 7 green. That means the 8th one must be red. I'm gonna say we're gonna get a green candle in April. Piano Matty B, green or red? Chat, let us know as well.
I'm going green as well because I'm delusionally bullish, Daisy.
Yeah, I'm high off my own supply. Classic Kev, are we gonna have a green or red April?
And look, I'm not just trying to be overly bullish to be bullish, Al, but let's peel back. Let's just look back and think about this. If we know the halving's coming on 420, do you think that the powers that be are going to miss an opportunity to super pump Bitcoin going into the halving and potentially be a mini buy the rumor, sell the news event after the halving? I just think it's too much of a great opportunity for the powers that really control these markets to miss that opportunity. I can't just see the Bitcoin halving being a nothing burger. So it's going to be a green month, but we may see some blood.
The most bullish thing I've heard, you said the powers that be. Someone once said this question to me, maybe it was someone in the chat on the main channel last week. Do you think Larry Fink wants to be embarrassed? That's all you need to know, whether or not we're going to keep going up and to the right. I mean, he can't prop it up and to the right forever, but it's a compelling narrative. Does Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, want egg on his face? I would say yoke no. All right, well, let's go to the second story here. Tether added nearly 8.9 thousand Bitcoin to holdings just in the first quarter, in the first 3 months of the year. They now have 75,000 tokens. What is that worth? $5 billion at today's prices. Probably just going to keep going up. And what did they buy? They bought 8,888.888. I'm not sure how many okay, looks like at least 4 decibels right there. Sticking with the very lucky number in China right now. Right, slightly above $75,000 worth. Their profit, just the profit, they are $3 billion in profit. Now, speaking of profit, Piano Matty B, will they ever take profit, or are they going to feel like the prophet of Bitcoin, Michael Saylor, and just never sell?
Well, that's a good question, because I know, probably all of us on this panel and most of the people in the chat are probably wrestling with this right now. Do I take profits? How much profits do I take? Or am I in for another cycle? Do I just set it and forget it and take a look at 2028? I mean, that's what I'm almost leaning towards that again, just being inspired from Michael Saylor, even though he works for the CIA and the NSA, that doesn't matter. But I'm inspired by that low time horizon, and to just take the profits off the table and just wait for 4 years.
I like that strategy. Wait 4 years. Hey, sometimes you got to wait for and change, when we dip below 20K. Let's see. Classic Kev. I mean, where are you leaning on this? Are they going to hodl Bitcoin forever? Or are they going to try to time the market and, maybe make some profit in the next year or two?
If Piano Matty B brought up Michael Saylor, and if Michael Saylor's right in his thesis on Bitcoin, he's said multiple times that he's going to be buying the top of Bitcoin forever, that there is no better asset. Yeah. So it kind of makes sense for Tether to be buying Bitcoin right now. And the bigger question is this, like you said about Larry Fink and BlackRock, is that if Larry Fink and BlackRock are buying Bitcoin at $69,000, $70,000, and Tether's buying Bitcoin at $69,000, $70,000, is $70,000 Bitcoin cheap Bitcoin or expensive Bitcoin? Because I know it seems like it's expensive for Bitcoin, but if you would have said the same thing when Bitcoin was $30,000, you would have said Bitcoin was expensive at $30,000, which technically it was. So I don't know, man. There's so much I don't know about Tether. Is it a Ponzi scheme? Is Tether going to be a black swan event one day? I really don't know, but I look at this as bullish, and I don't see them liquidating or selling any of this, because if you're holding the number one asset, what are you selling it for? And unless you're selling it to go buy a house or something, what would be the purpose of selling it? They're holding in theory, the best asset. So I don't think they'll sell.
Yeah. Michael Saylor said the only thing compares is what granite in Manhattan. I think that's the only thing he says. All right. Now, Piano Matty B, they accumulated $5 billion. Now their market cap is close to 100 billion. So, I mean, it's still only 5%, but is there ever a scenario where they accumulate enough Bitcoin where it starts to make a sizable percentage of their U.S. Treasury holdings or just commercial paper holdings? Is there ever a time where it would be relatively zero risk just because they have so much Bitcoin behind the commercial paper back in their asset?
Well, we were talking earlier how about everything, the cliche that, things are different now. And so imagine this buy, and then Bitcoin has the bull run of all bull runs that we'll maybe never see again. I mean, and they're just fabulously rich on Bitcoin. I think it may change everyone's business plan the way it kind of took Michael Saylor from MicroStrategy, whatever that does. I don't even know what his business does, but now he's basically a Bitcoin proxy. And I don't see that reverting back to MicroStrategy, whatever that does, besides work for the NSA and the CIA.
Oh, yeah. It's that very common thing, enterprise software. Oh, yeah, like what? Oh, you wouldn't have heard of it.
It's an algorithm, right?
Yeah, it's an algorithm. It's in the background. Big companies use it. Okay. What's the biggest company? U.S. government? All right. Again, who knows? All right, Classic Kev, I got a question here. Allegedly, perhaps, perchance. We have two main stablecoin providers. They have two very unique strategies. USDC, comply or die. Tether, hey, we're stacking sats. We're stacking Bitcoin. We're buying mining equipment. What is going to be the better strategy long term? Is it going to be, work closely with regulators, make sure you cross all the T's, or is it, hey, try to provide access to the most customers possible and start stacking Bitcoin in the background?
I really don't know, DZ, but if you think about it, I've kind of had this same dilemma in my head. All right, do I get into crypto mining? Do I buy, these different rigs to mine these different cryptocurrencies? And what I figured out was, instead of doing that, it's really just best to buy the actual asset, to buy the actual Bitcoin or whatever coin you were thinking about mining. So I really don't know. Time will tell on that one, but I think that buying hard assets is always going to be the better play. So maybe I think you're referring to Tether's strategy. I think that might end up being the better strategy. I'm not sure, though.
Well, it's funny. Tether, they're kind of doing a mixture there, Kev, because they're also, they are buying spot Bitcoin, but they're also buying mining equipment. If you were the CEO, would you continue that strategy or would you choose one over the other? Which one?
I would probably choose one over the other, and just because of the complexities of mining equipment and how quickly they become obsolete and the chip shortages and stuff, it's just something I wouldn't want to be involved in. I've made a lot of mistakes investing in crypto mining companies, and unfortunately, that how is Bitcoin at all-time high and crypto mining companies are in the dumpster? It just makes no sense to me. But there's a lot in that industry I don't know about. But again, buying actual Bitcoin is always going to be the best strategy versus buying mining equipment or buying proxies to Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's why did your company lose 40% of value in one day? Oh, new ant miner came out. We had S8s, they made an S9, now we're just worthless. Like, oh, that doesn't seem good. You should have just bought. All right, last question on this topic. Piano Matty B, pretty much the same thing. Is it the comply strategy as USDC or the stack sats strategy like Tether? What is more likely to exist, say, 20 years down the road, since they both have unique strategies?
Well, I wanted to add something to classic Kev. It goes back to the diversifying into lesser assets as well. And when you diversify into lesser assets, you better be a pro trader. And of all the traders I've come across in my life, including myself, who at one point was a pro trader for currencies, you have to be so good to make consistent money being a pro trader. And if you don't know what you're getting into in the mining stocks and whatever, you basically are throwing darts. So if you are a qualified pro trader, you can diversify into those stocks. But classic Kev's right. Why wouldn't you just buy the Bitcoin?
Yeah, should just buy Bitcoin. And then someone else, there's a deeper degen, like down like an inception layer. They're like, you should just bought Dog with Hat, when it was $1 million market cap. And me and my two friends knew about it. All right. All right. Let's go to the third topic here. Call of Duty players losing their Bitcoin. I can only imagine what the two-time world champion Blockbuster back-to-back is thinking right now. Here, let me share this article. Call of Duty players have their Bitcoin swiped thanks to malware. How many? 5 million gaming accounts could be affected by the Bitcoin wallet draining malware tied to cheat software. This is people that are playing using the cheat software on Call of Duty. It's a pay to cheat software that if you're using Battle.net, they have the two names right here. I want to make sure I do share the names just in case there's our people watching at home. It's a wallet drainer malware. And then it looks like it was these two. Okay. Unknown cheats and phantom overlay. So included in the malware attack were the cheat providers, these two right here. So probably not too many watching, cheating at Apex Legends or cheating at Call of Duty. Oh, I can shoot you through a wall. But if you're using those two game boosting, it's just a game genie, right? If you're using those software, check your Bitcoin wallets, especially if you're using this particular wallet. If we can share it one more time here. Owen, I want to make sure Electrum. It's the Electrum Bitcoin wallets is what was targeted. But the amount stolen, still unknown. They don't know how much is stolen. All right, now, Classic Kev, this happened to cheaters. Cheaters at a game that's beloved by millions. Did these cheaters have it coming?
Well, there's nothing more frustrating in a competitive online game, whether it be Call of Duty, Overwatch, Apex Legends, these type of games, than people that cheat. And, I almost feel that companies like Blizzard and, these other big game companies, they're kind of complicit in the cheating, PUBG, because it's almost like, if they ban your account, you just rebuy the game. And it's like almost like a profit strategy for them. But as far as the cheaters and, downloading that malware, yeah, they kind of got what was coming to them. Because that they're hacking, so they got what they put out. Now, as far as this, I remember trying to actually play the last Call of Duty, and you had to actually fill out a bunch of paperwork and stuff. Dude, I'm not trying to take a test to play a video game. What happened to the days of just putting the game in and playing it? No cheats. All of this is nonsense. But man, this is just another reason not to play video games. But yeah, those guys were downloading illegal software technically, and yeah, they got what was coming to them.
Yeah, whatever happened to you turn a game on and it's just the game screen is on. I was watching 3 Body Problem. I'm only about halfway. No spoilers, but in the show they have the Oculus style thing, and they even remark oh, the game just starts. And I think they say something like, oh, you don't have to sign in. No, just starts. And it made me think of the Oculus, like, oh, Mark Zuckerberg's face is popping up, like, here's a Sweet Baby Ray's recipe and give me your Facebook login info. And I'm like, I just want to shoot virtual people with my goggles on. I didn't know I had to, sign in. It's like bad toaster wanting to hook up to your Wi-Fi. Like, just toast my bread. That's all you needed to do. Now, Matty B, what are your thoughts on game cheats? I know it's been a while since Pong. I'm kidding. I don't know why I said that. I'm sorry, man. It's been a while since pinball machines were all the rage. What are your thoughts on cheating in game mods? These people are downloading software. It's giving you the pop-up like, hey, be careful downloading this. I mean, did they have it coming? What are your thoughts here?
I get it. I get the temptation, but it's almost like if you cheated on your girlfriend and she dumped you, and then you made a community plea for sympathy, and you're like, oh, I can't believe she dumped me. And then at the end of the story, they're like, well, why did it? Is this a sudden? Did she just break up with you? And you're like, well, I cheated on her. So there's that, right? And so as sad as it is for anyone to lose any of their crypto, at the end of the story, there's just a little bit less sympathy when you say, well, I downloaded a cheating software and it actually got me. So it's less and less sympathy as you go down this story. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's tragic if anyone loses anything. But it's Wild West, right?
Yeah, there's levels. There's like the Konami code, and then there's like a Game Genie, Game Shark, and then there's like doing illegal mods that you're downloading like against the terms of service, and you're on online competitive play. So yeah, there's definitely levels to it. Truck Dano, tell us your favorite video game. We got some Tiger Woods golf fans. I know we got some NBA Jam fans out there. But speaking of games, Classic Kev, crypto games supposed to be one of the big narratives for 2024. It's going to be one of the big onboarding events for newer entrants into the crypto ecosystem. Should we worry about game cheat or game hacks actually alienating gamers where they say, oh yeah, I heard about crypto gaming, then my buddy lost all his money, so I should stay away forever? I mean, how do you see this playing out? Is it going to be the big onboarding event, or is it going to be a poison pill that keeps gamers away?
Well, there's been scams and stuff like this and cheats and exploits and every single, popular online game. And I think that, the whole crypto gaming narrative, I believe it's true. I believe it's going to be adopted, but I don't think we have that one big game, that World of Warcraft, that Counter-Strike, that, this big game that just, even Minecraft, something like that. I don't think we have that game yet, unless it's out and I just don't know about it. But when that game comes, y'all, there's nothing that's going to stop gamers. They don't care if they lose money. They don't care if somebody else got hacked. They don't think it can happen to them. They are here because they love the games. And I don't know if this is going to happen this year, but in the not so distant future, crypto gaming will be a sector the same way RWA or AI is. So, hey, prepared, me, I don't really game too much anymore, but I think I have the skill, DZ, where I can like look at a game and even play it and tell you like, okay, this game's going to be big or it's not going to be big. So I haven't found that game yet though, but if you know any, man, let me know.
So I want to check Grand Theft Auto 6 2025, Overwatch 2 off the grid. Where's Pal World? I guess no one plays Pal World anymore. Matty B, Kevin's kind of referred to like the killer app is what they call it. I think Microsoft, the first Xbox had Halo was the killer app. PlayStation 2, it had been out for months or maybe even a year this time. Then Grand Theft Auto 3 hit. It was the killer app. Does crypto gaming need a killer app that's just actually fun to play and it's like almost like a phenomenon? Or is just a few Axie Infinities where you got 20 games where a bunch of people are making money? Is that enough to onboard event or as an onboard event? Or do we need that killer app?
I think a combo of both. Yeah, the killer app would basically speed everything up. But I believe begrudgingly, and this is because I have an 8-year-old son, I do believe video games are the future. And when I see kids, like, so for instance, my 8-year-old son will whine about his buddy coming over next door. And I'll go, okay, you can come over. And then they both sit at the table and they play the same video game right beside each other. So this is what these kids are doing. And it's just going to get bigger and bigger and more immersed. And then eventually we won't even know whether it's a video game or it's a day planner. We'll all be involved. The parents will have to get in on the video game. Then we're just all in this massive video game, maybe even a simulation. if it were.
Follow-up question: are we in a simulation, Matty?
I believe I'm in a simulation, right? So it's a personal thing because some people's lives are I guess uneventful, and they're like, this isn't a simulation. But if you have an eventful life, you can't help but think it's a wild simulation. Are you in a simulation?
I got some extra wrinkles to this conundrum here. Classic Kev, have you heard about there's people who don't have a inner dialogue when they think? Have you heard about that?
Yeah, I have heard of that.
I heard a theory. If we were in a simulation, could those be NPCs? Classic Kev, what are your thoughts on that?
No snap.
So it's weird that I've heard that theory. There's people without an inner dialogue. I clearly have one because I think of some wild stuff.
Yeah, but, I can't imagine not having one.
And I'm friends with people that have told me that they don't have that. And maybe they are the NPCs. But this simulation, man, I'm enjoying it. 10 out of 10.
Wait a second.
I'm really enjoying
anyone watching, if you don't have inner dialogue, you're not an NPC. Or are you? Maddie, go ahead.
Can you clarify what not having a inner dialogue is?
So when the example I heard, they walk into a grocery store, and so instead of thinking, all right, I got to walk to the corner and grab the eggs, they have a visualization of like that section of a grocery store in their mind, and then a visualization of eggs. So it's just like a picture of eggs and a picture of that section. They don't have the words.
That does sound like an NPC.
That does sound like an NPC. I don't know, folks. Who knows? Are they NPCs?
Have you met one? In real life, have you actually met
I haven't confirmed. I've heard of it. I haven't met one. I haven't asked enough people. I don't. You two may be the first people I've ever asked that. So
I call people NPCs when I see them when they're acting like an NPC. Like it's the best way to describe some human, a low-level human as an NPC. It just makes complete sense.
I'm a low-level human. I'm not
we're
an
all,
NPC,
you know what? We're all watching this. We're in a basement somewhere. We're all low-level humans, but we're all higher level because we're hitting that like button. We're buying some Bitcoin probably at some point. And folks, if you'd want to confirm you are not an NPC, you will hit that like button, everybody. I will appreciate that. All right, well, you know what? It was such a fun show. Let's give both of y'all 10, 20 seconds for some parting thoughts. Piano Matty B, I'll lead with you.
Well, speaking of NPCs, on my piano stream on Saturday, it's a live dueling piano. I encountered an NPC, and if you go to that video, there's a timestamp in the comments, and if you click that timestamp, it'll show me kicking an NPC out of a piano bar live. It's wild. Go check it out.
Okay. All right. Confirm NPC. I am going to. Best thumbs too. Kev, go ahead.
You know, y'all, if you're an NPC, it's okay, man. You know, think of all the great games, the Grand Theft Autos, man. You need NPCs for those games to be great. So you're part of this simulation, man. We're glad to have you. But y'all just hang on. April's going to be a wild month. The halving's near. The Ethereum spot ETF, it's going to get approved. So buckle up. It's going to be a fun ride, man. I'm just glad to be a part of it.
NPCs, they're going to be our exit liquidity. All right, that's all we got, folks. We'll see you tomorrow. Hit that like button.